welcome back to another episode of Ground Gaming HD. Today, the third episode in Stronghold Crusader with the Lionheart against the two Caliphs, which is the Scorpion and the Jackal, which is a third mission called This Dusty Land. So yeah, we start out with 10,000 gold each. Everybody gets 10,000 gold, and what we're going to do is start out with building our castle. Not surprisingly there, but we have our source of income, which is going to be the stone quarry, to facilitate us to be able to sell that and obviously have enough money to be able to build up an army, and also building a few iron mines on the side as well. So with that out of the way, we can focus on our castle, and we're actually going to go for something a little bit more sophisticated this episode. We're going to go for a moat wall kind of defensive build. So we'll kind of come back to that in a second, but in the meantime we're going to build up our, food industry, as it were, to be able to feed the people, because we don't want them going hungry. And we're going to go again for the wheat and bread system. But now we can focus on building up the army. What we're going to do with this is add a huge amount of horse archers and essentially couple them with knights and catapults to essentially try and finish off the enemy as quickly as possible. We have a little bit of an early attack from the AI, as we would expect, this time from the Jackal, sending over a few of his archers, so I had to quickly respond by making my own archers, knowing that it wasn't going to be a huge issue because, I mean, we have 10,000 gold, so it's a huge amount of money to start off with. They make it quite easy. But now I can start off with making our own horse archers. And we're just going to carry on detailing off this section of the castle as well. Just making sure that the layout and there's no kind of secret ways behind. The moat is all around. We have our inner wall, we have our outer wall. The outer wall essentially allows a good, strong resistance in case there was an attack. But once again, it's a nice, sturdy defense, which is what we want to see. And with that done, we can continue to build up our army, we continue to build up our economy. We want to get rid of these extra bits of items or buildings from King Richard, but with those out of the way we're able to finish that castle and those walls and moats off. But now we can move over to the north side, which is going to be against the Jackal, the blue enemy, the blue Caliph, and we're going to sell as much as possible, as always, to get as much money as possible. With our defensive structure completely out of the way, completely sorted, we're going to build up our engineers, and we're going to be making mainly catapults, but one or two ballistas as well. And in the meantime, Lionheart is carrying on to, I guess, hassle the Scorpion in his own battle. Nothing too crazy. The Scorpion does have quite a good defensive strategy and layout, which is really difficult for Richard to be able to actually get through. But that's not really our problem at this point in time. We're going for the Jackal, who is far away up in the north. We're going to sort him out first before coming down and actually taking charge of the battle that Richard clearly can't do. So, the slaves, as always, pestering us, but not going to be an issue when we have enough horse archers. We have about 175 horse archers, and they are going to, as you can see here, they are going to be enough to hopefully take out the Jackal. We have everything prepared. We're going to get this battle scene number one, as it were, get started. So we're going to start out with the catapults to try and destroy the towers, because we don't really want the towers to have much aerial control, and as early as possible basically getting rid of those archers and fire throwers. Now what we're doing here with these knights is actually trying to set the fire trigger, but essentially sacrificing them. As you can see, they're a bit of fire, but it was not anywhere as near as I wanted to in terms of the number of fires being set off, which is slightly worrying because now we're going to have to go in with our main army, as it were, and there's risk of fire. But either way, it's causing a problem. There's now an entrance, but we're going to split up our horse archers to try and confuse the enemy, as it were, to try and flank them a little bit, and then send our knights in head first, which they're able to do. But again, there was plenty of fire that is being used from Jackal, which is going to cause an issue. And what we're doing is just firing through, basically, with our knights, trying to control that, trying to hopefully get more distraction from the archers and from the fire throwers from us, but it's very risky. And actually what happens here is slightly worrying. So we have our swordsman going through, but it's just chaos. It's absolutely chaos. This is completely poorly managed by me. I did not actually get this in control, and from 175 horse archers we now have 56. Fortunately we've got control over the base of Jackal, so it means that we are able to control the recruitment process and kill them off straight away, so there's not really any risk of them coming up. The knights obviously have got a huge amount of health, and so they're able to stay there and not really have too much of an issue. But now we're going to bring in our swordsmen, we're going to pull them through, we're going to put them on top of the keep, and they're going to kill the Jackal, which is going to be, again, very close. We only had 15 horse archers by the end of that, so it was extremely close. Perfectly managed in the end, but a bit too close for my liking. Either way, we're now going to completely focus on regrouping your allies. And we're basically going to have another bunch of horse archers. Fortunately, this time we can actually command Richard to contribute to the battle, and we're going to have a second battle, which will hopefully be a bit easier. Richard going for the tunnelling system as always. Not the most successful if there's not towers, because essentially they just get rebuilt every time. But that's not really a problem for us, because we're going to go in for aerial supremacy once again. We have the ballistas from the Scorpion actually damaging our own catapult, so we need to start moving in quick. We're going to split up our knights in two, again send a first little wave to again try and trigger some fires, trying to get the archers to shoot those knights down rather than our own, and then obviously continue to do some damage in and of themselves, so that's not going to be a major issue. But our knights are essentially sacrificing themselves. Now we're going to bring in the second wave, as it were. In the meantime, they've done a great job. They're taking down, with the assistance of the catapults, to actually destroy the towers that are obviously got those archers on and the flamethrowers on. So fortunately they're able to completely get on top of that, and now we can bring on a second wave of horse archers as well and take control of what's going on here. We do have the support of Richard as well, coming in with his own knights and his own pikemen, which are okay, but they're not particularly effective, just for no other reason other than there's not many of them, and they're not a huge assist. However, we are able to take control of this game. We're able to, much easier than the first one, win and take the kill with our one or two remaining swordsmen. And with that, we're going to win the game. We're going to move on to the next episode next time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll see you next time.